Hey, everybody. Well, I don't know what happened there. I guess we got to start all over again. I did some constitutional reading before that dropped, so I won't redo that. I'm going to hang on here for a minute and give people a chance to find me again because she just dropped right off. Actually, there is one person that I definitely want to tell them to try again. All right. That taken care of. Just back up here. Bear with me, people. Oh, Lord have mercy. Almost there. All right. Josh says he's on now. Susan says we're back. Awesome. And you can hear me okay? All right, good. All right. So we'll just go from here. Because the link is in there. Well, no, it's not. I'm going to have to fill in the description and so forth. I just wanted to get back on. But the link is in the previous videos for you to read this all yourself. In Article V11, Section 4, the Constitution states, there shall be elected for 4 years in each organized county a sheriff, a county clerk, a county treasurer, a register of deeds, and a prosecuting attorney, whose duties and powers shall be provided by law. The Board of Supervisors may combine the offices of county clerk and register of deeds in one office or separate the same at pleasure. So shall be provided by law. This is the Constitution. I'm sure we're talking about constitutional law. In Article V11, Section 5, the Constitution states, the sheriff, county clerk, county treasurer, and register of deeds shall hold their principal offices at the county seat. In Article V11, Section 6, the Constitution states, the sheriff may be required by law to renew his security periodically, and in default of giving such security, his office shall be vacant. The county shall never be responsible for his acts except that the Board of Supervisors may protect him against claims by prisoners in his care. He shall not hold any other office except in civil defense. Sheriff can be part of civil defense. What else was interesting in there? I know there was something that I thought I'd come back to. I think I'll just scan through there again. his security. You want to check on your sheriff's security. Make sure it's up to date. These articles of the Constitution indicate that the sheriff is an integral part of the fabric of government in Michigan. The articles establishing these offices show that the framers of the Constitution gave to each county the autonomy to control and direct the financial record keeping and law enforcement functions of their jurisdictions. Whoa. These paragraphs are just loaded, aren't they? One after another with uncommon knowledge. As part of the light MK Ultra brainwashing. Feed you garbage and don't teach you what you should be taught. So we're here doing a little bit of restoration to the brainwashed. Section 6 makes two very interesting points. First, the County Board of Supervisors shall never be responsible for his acts. The sheriff must conduct him or herself in a manner that would limit the exposure to liability because there is no umbrella of protection provided. Moreover, in fact, the umbrella of protection is prohibited. My. All this uncommon knowledge. The second point is that the sheriff shall not hold any other office except in civil defense. The framers of the Constitution considered the office of sheriff so complex and difficult that those duties cannot be shared with any other office. The sheriffs are limited to that office to prevent the accumulation and abuse of power in the community. Let that sink in. What are sheriffs for? What did we read earlier? They're peace officers. What was their duty? To arrest and detain offenders. You got a expired tab, you're missing a mirror, you got a cracked windshield, you didn't come to a complete stop, you weren't wearing your seatbelt, you had alcohol on your breath, you had marijuana. Did you break the peace? No, but some road pirate did. They do it all the time. Why? Because you don't know what an American is. Because all this uncommon knowledge that was left to us by God through our forefathers. Oh, we got some big things happening. I'm so happy. I spent some time with God today. Well, I want to rephrase that. I was visited. I was. My spine is steeled. And I seek wisdom of the ages. And God needs you to do the same. God says time is now. Now is the time to be smart, to own your authority and know who you are. We're going to hold our servants accountable. We're going to end this tyranny. We're going to do it powerfully, orderly, peacefully, lawfully, by God, in God's time. So let's read that again. Josh says, there was something said, and I want to quote it. What the American public doesn't know is what makes them the American public. Who said that? Josh Eddy? Where'd you get that quote? All right. Let's pick up here. The sheriffs are limited to that office to prevent the accumulation and abuse of power in the community. Like being road pirates and letting all the bylaw officers be road pirates and letting British foreign agents have seats in legislative and judicial and basically head up every major and minor portion of the world. My. It's not time for baby steps, is it? Not if you wake up. In addition, they may have been saying that the responsibilities and duties are so great that another office may interfere and influence the sheriff adversely. The sheriff must be an independent entity without influences that could distract from the difficult task of being sheriff. The complexity of the position is immense, and this complexity will become clearer when analyzing the statutory duties imposed upon the sheriff. Many duties and responsibilities are assigned to the sheriff and the sheriff alone. Although there are many other law enforcement agencies, none have the same range of responsibilities of the sheriff. In Michigan, the state's duty of law enforcement for the protection of its citizens has been constitutionally delegated to the county in the person of the sheriff. Statutory requirements. Chapter 51 of the Michigan compiled laws is the section that explains the office of sheriff. There are over 300 separate statutes that empower, restrict, provide for the replacement or otherwise direct the sheriff of each county. This is just a small portion of the statutory requirements placed on the sheriff. Court and civil process statutes, correctional law, criminal law, and many other statutes govern the sheriff. The specific duties listed in the statutes include patrolling roads, enforcing state law, investigating traffic accidents, providing emergency assistance to persons on or near the highways, and providing these services to cities or villages within the county upon request. Each sheriff's department shall provide the following services within the county in which it is established and shall be the law enforcement agency primarily responsible for providing the following services on county primary roads and county local roads within that county, except for those portions of the county primary roads and county roads within the boundaries of a city or village, and on those portions of any other highway or road within the boundaries of a county park within that county. Patrolling and monitoring traffic violations. Enforcing the criminal laws in the state, violations of which are observed by or brought to the attention of the sheriff's department while providing the patrolling and monitoring required by this subsection. Investigating accidents involving motor vehicles. Providing emergency assistance to persons on or near a highway or road patrolled and monitored as required by this subsection. Upon request, by resolution of the legislative body of a city or village, the sheriff's department of the county in which the city or village is located shall provide the services described in subsection 2A, C, and D on those portions of county primary roads and county local roads and state trunk line highways within the boundaries of the city or village, which are designated by the city or village in the resolution. A separate provision makes the sheriff primarily responsible for the recovery of drowned bodies. This is a continuation of the duties in the Magna Carta dealing with deceased persons. There is also a connection between the county coroner and the sheriff. The coroner serves as sheriff in case that both the sheriff and undersheriff vacate the offices. There we go. The coroner can arrest the sheriff and the undersheriff. If they're in breach of their duty, they have left office. If they are guilty of treason by their actions, they vacated their office. Everybody wants to know who can take care of the sheriff. The coroner serves as sheriff in the case that both the sheriff and undersheriff vacate the offices. And the only person who can serve process of any kind on a sheriff is the coroner. Well, that sounds like some kind of statute BS. And then it goes Hubble versus Ross in 1980. Yeah, well, we the people have all the power. Some of this stuff doesn't belong in here, in my opinion. All right, well, nevertheless, I'm just reading you what's here. Because we're going to fix all of it. And I mean all of it. Top to bottom, inside and out. By God. There is a connection between the sheriff and the coroner. The reasoning behind this connection remains unclear. However, it be a continuation of a tradition from medieval times. One theory suggests that the connection in medieval times was because of the educational level and position in society that each had. Both were placed in positions that required the ability to read and write in a time when nearly all persons were illiterate. How many we graduate today can't read and write? Too many. All right. Secondly, the positions of sheriff and coroner were governmental positions, but not solely there to present the crown, but to represent and protect the people of the counties. Yep, you're right. Well, Susan Williams, coroners are corrupted by infiltrating, hiding, suppressing true death data on the Jabberdo. And hold them accountable. All treason. All right, I kind of lost my spot here. We got to get. Actually, no, I got to read that again. Secondly, the positions of sheriff and coroner were governmental positions, but not solely there to represent the crown, but to represent and protect the people of the counties. The knights were solely for the king and the upper class, as were, oh, there's that word again, ESCHEATOR, comma, lords, comma, barons, comma, and other officials of the crown. The sheriff and coroner were for everyone. The sheriff was chosen by the king from the landowners of the county or shire, and he swore to treat the people of his billywhack lawfully, to do right to all, and to adopt his bailiffs from among the most lawful men in the county. The sheriff is also required by statute to keep jail. Really? You had to create a statute for that? Oh well. The sheriff shall have charge and custody of the jails of his county and of the prisoners in the same, and shall keep them himself or by his deputy jailer. The sheriff is designated as the person responsible for the service of all court process. Whoa. What court process? The sheriff is designated as the person responsible for the service of all court process. All right. This is a brain rejuvenating moment here. What did I just say? Come on. All right. The sheriff is designated as the person responsible for the service of all court process. Oh, the sheriff must be responsible. They won't talk to me. Well, Mike in Leelanau County, he picked up the phone. Well, actually, his staff did. He wasn't available. They transferred me over to leave a voice message, and Sheriff Mike picked up the phone. We started talking, and I got to have a Wi-Fi boost to get a self-service. Yeah, kind of self-service, kind of weak out here, like a lot of American men, really weak. Anyways, the call drops. And I'm like, oh my goodness, you got to be kidding me. And then the phone rings. It's Sheriff Mike. We start talking. Call drops. I'm feeling so frustrated. We only talk for just a brief few words. He calls back, and the call dropped, uh, and he called back again. I think I got that right. I don't know if I have one too many callbacks, but I think I got that about right. Calls back again, and the phone doesn't ring. He leaves me a voice message, and he advertises as a constitutional sheriff. So far, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Very impressed. Sheriff Dar, he doesn't want to talk to me. It would appear, because I don't know. It seems like it's 10 days or more since I left a message and explained that it was important and that he can call anytime. After hours is fine. The boys drove a long way. One from across the state, one from another state. Went and sat there, had that meeting, had all this talk. I'll hear a word from Sheriff Dar. He's going to hear from me real soon. All right, we'll get back to reading. And I got to read this again 3 times. For the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. For the Father, the sheriff is designated as the person responsible for the service of all court proceedings. For the Son, the sheriff is designated as the person responsible for the service of all court process. Did I say proceedings last time? Wow. Well, that's why it's there for you. And I'm a man, I make mistakes. For the Holy Spirit, the sheriff is designated as the person responsible for the service of all court process. Section 7. It is hereby provided that this act shall be so construed as to require the sheriff, undersheriff, and deputy sheriffs to perform all reasonable services within the jurisdiction of their offices for which the county may be liable, and to serve and execute all civil writs. What? Oh my goodness. And processes that may be responsibly served and executed by said officers under salary. I'm going to read that again. It is hereby provided that this act shall be so construed as to require the sheriff to do what? To ask the sheriff? To beg the sheriff? To expect the sheriff? It is hereby provided that this act shall be so construed as to require the sheriff, undersheriff, and deputy sheriffs to perform all reasonable services within the jurisdiction of their offices for which the county may be liable, and to serve and execute all civil writs and processes that may be reasonably served and executed by said officers under salary. Something Mr. Whiteford probably knows quite well. I think the prosecutor might have mentioned it to him on his way out of office. July 31st was the Kalkaska County prosecutor's last day. June 28th was the day I served the paperwork on the Kalkaska County sheriff, who was supposed to arrest that prosecutor. and a bunch of others. So now the sheriff's got a problem. All right. As these statutes demonstrate, the duties of the sheriff are immense. Patrolling roads, searching out criminal law violators, traffic violators, investigating accidents, recovering drowning victims, keeping a jail, service of all court processes, and many other duties not specifically listed in the statutes. The sheriff must perform duties of office of sheriff as recognized at common law. You hear that, sheriffs? You hear that, Americans? Do you hear it? Come on now, we're going old school. Small government. Keep your nose out of my life and your hands out of my pocket. Old school. You're going to respect your master, servants. You're going to pay a very, very heavy price. Maladministration can get you put away for a long, long time. The danger of maladministration is enough to remove you from office at any time. We have all the power. Citizens arrest. And you know what? I believe Sheriff Darr is a fan of citizens arrest. I do. I believe that. I skipped over something because I was too busy with something else. I got to get back to it. Y'all might want to take a look at that. Sheriff Darr's feelings on citizens arrest. But remember, his feelings don't matter. His opinions don't matter. His obligations and his duty, his honor and his integrity, those are the kind of things that matter. What he thinks is, what his opinion on things is irrelevant when we're in that context. And we have all power, including the power of citizens arrest. It's just good to know that Sheriff Darr understands that very well. I think Sheriff Darr is going to be a hero. I do. I have faith. The sheriff must perform duties of office of sheriff as recognized at common law, as well as those statutory duties which do not destroy the sheriff's power to perform duties to office at common law. Whoa, more hidden knowledge. The sheriff must perform duties of office as recognized at common law, as well as those statutory duties which trample your rights, make you a slave. Oh, no, that's not what it says. All right, let's try again. The sheriff must perform duties of office of sheriff as recognized at common law, as well as those statutory duties which do not destroy the sheriff's power to perform duties of office at common law. All right, I'm going to end the reading there. And we'll come back and read some more. Americans, you ready to be free? You ready to be happy? You ready to own it? Are you ready to prosper? Have good health. Have time to enjoy your friends and family. Time to spend with God and do God's will. Are you ready? Are you ready to crush the evil? To dig it up from its deepest roots? To chop it down from its highest levels? To crush it into oblivion? To cast it upon fire? And drop the ash at the feet of Jesus Christ? Are you ready? I know you are. Time has come. I love you all. Now be safe. All right. I can't end this here. We got a holiday coming up. Everybody's getting ready for the holiday. You just get close to God and get close to your family. Study when you can. Try and study when you think you can't. Know what an American is. Know you are an American and own it. Stay safe. Nobody falling on a sword. All right. Much love. Stay strong. Talk soon.